Hello, welcome to my first live episode of Wade's Workshop. Today we are making these Frankenstein decorations. This is not my design. I saw it a while back on, I believe it was Etsy, and I liked it and decided to try and recreate it and got it pretty close. It looks pretty good to me. So today we're making a few of these for some friends. So what I started out with is just a pine 4x4 that I rounded the edges over with a 3/8 roundover bit. And then I sanded it with some 80 grit sandpaper. A lot of people don't have access to cedar, especially on the East Coast. I live in Florida, and getting cedar in Florida is pretty much impossible. So this is a pine 4x4. It's not pressure treated. I found that my local Lowe's, excuse me, sells pine 4x4s that aren't pressure treated, and they work out great for projects like this. So I took that 4x4 and I painted it black. This is just a flat black. And painted it on all four corners and let that dry. Then I painted it green, and my green is a seaweed salad is the name. Took me quite a while with my paint person at Home Depot looking through the different greens to find what I think is probably the best green for Frankenstein. And seaweed salad, that's a bear paint, and turned out really good. So I painted this really lightly. I didn't put a heavy coat on. You'll see why in a minute. And I didn't paint the top because that's going to be black anyway. So why take the time to paint it green when it's going to turn black again? So, but yep. So it went from regular pine to black, and then painted it green on top of that. And that's what our outcome is going to be. I'm going to set Frank here aside while we get ready. So the first thing I'm going to do to get Frank here ready is I'm going to sand it. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to expose some of the black that's underneath. And don't worry if you see the wood come through, because it looks pretty good on Frankenstein if you can see through all the way to the wood also. So this is 120 grit sandpaper, little sanding block that I found on Amazon, and it works really well. So just going to give it a light sanding. My goal here is just to bring a little bit of black through. Don't want to take off too much. I want to do it even, because even though this is a matte paint, it's still got a little bit of shine to it, and I want to get rid of that shine. So dig in just a little bit. I'm pushing hard on the corner there, and then I'm going to push hard the center just to get a little more black showing through. All right, that's all that I want right there. So I'm going to bring the camera in a little closer so you can see more what I'm doing and a little less of me. So bear with me just a second. Sorry for the camera movement here. There we go. Sorry about the camera movement. So as you can see through the green really well there. So I'm gonna do all four sides. Got a little bit of a paint run there. Just gonna sand it off lightly. Shaking the whole table. Just digging a little bit more into that paint run to try and sand it off a little bit. If you've got a power sander, it makes short work of this. You can do this in seconds, but not everybody has a power sander, so I decided to do it by hand today. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm just putting a little extra pressure in the center here. Putting a sandpaper up on its edge so it digs in a little. That's looking pretty good. Needs a little more. Don't worry about sanding too much on the top because you're about to paint that black with hair, so no point in spending a lot of time up on that end. Oh, that looks really good. Alright, got a little wood showing through, so I like that. Alright, take a rag here and give it a quick wipe down. And brush off the table. Got a little bit of green paint on there. Alright. So now we're going to pick which side we like the best to be my face. I think that one right there is going to be the face, and got my paint brushes. So I got two paint brushes, one for drawing lines and one for filling in. Got a little cup of water, pencil. I got some flat black paint and a little bit of white paint, and I've got gallons just because I bought a lot because I make lots of decorations, but typically something like this you can use just a small acrylic paints too. Alright, where is my screwdriver? Pop the lid. There we go. Alright, so first thing I want to do is sketch more or less what I'm doing. That way I have some lines to follow. Makes it a little easier. When I draw the hair for Frankenstein here, the further down you go, it looks better, but it's a lot more painting on the top, so just keep that in mind. So I'm going to come down approximately 1.5 inches. So I'm going to start here on the side, and I'm going to just do some points. You want to mix them up a little, make them look not uniform, because Frankenstein has lived a rough life and he does not care about his hair. It just started pouring rain outside. Well, not pouring, but raining. I'm here in Florida, so dealing with a little bit of tropical weather flying or going by the coast of Florida today. I'm doing all 4 sides with his hair. On the back, trying to make it just a little smaller than the front. That one looks very much like the last one, so I'll change it up a little. Try to wrap it around the corners. This one is going to connect right there. Alright. I just got to make sure which one I had picked for my face. What was that one? I kind of like that one better. Alright, we're going with that one. Alright, so I'm going to take some black paint. Oh, I got to finish drawing the face. So first thing I'm going to start with is Frankenstein's got a nice unibrow. It's going to go all the way across. He's going to get some big eyes. I'm going to give him a scar right across his forehead and a scar across his face here. Alright, that's a good starting point, I think. I'll start with his hair. Got a little bit of sideways rain trying to come on the porch here with us. But this is Florida, so it'll probably be done raining by the time I moved everything. Make sure you cover up your pencil lines so you don't see those. Use our other brush here to fill in. I'm just going to work on the face right now. I'll move to the sides. Once I'm done, I can stand it up. I don't want to paint the sides now because then I wouldn't be able to stand it up and you'd be trying to watch me paint the side of something instead of just the top here. There we go, that looks pretty good. Alright, that looks pretty good for his hair. Just gonna run it straight up and down, so looks like his hair's got comb lines maybe where it went through. Alright, I'm gonna leave that alone there. And we're gonna work on his scar. He's got a nice scar right here. I'm gonna try to keep this one as thin as possible. Looks pretty good. I'm going to put a few stitches on. These stitches are all going to be different angles. They're not going to be perfectly straight because he did not go to the hospital for these. He had some mad scientists put them in. Alright, now we're going to move to his unibrow. Same thing on the unibrow. This part on the ends you want to try and keep a little thin. In the middle it doesn't really matter how thick it is. When you get to the end you want to thin it back out again. There we go. Got a little thick on that side, but it'll still look good. Alright, now we're going to outline the eyes. Found this design on Etsy, I believe it was. So while I don't sell these available online, you can, if you want to get one instead of make one, you can go on Etsy and find these and order them in. I'm sure they have plenty available since Halloween's coming. Alright, so we're doing the pupils now. We're going to leave all that area right there to paint white. I'm trying to straighten my line up just a little. There we go. Okay. And this one is going to be the opposite. There we go, that looks pretty good. Alright, so we're going to fill this whole area in here black. If you're just joining, welcome. Today we're painting Frankenstein. If you missed any, I'm going to make this video available so you can go back and watch it. But if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I do have the stream up. Looks like Michelle from Puyallup, Washington. Welcome to the stream. This is my first live stream, so bear with me. Alright, just about done with the eyes here. So let that dry a little before we come back and put a little bit of highlights in there. Alright, I like that. Alright. So, I did not draw his nose and mouth earlier, so I'm going to sketch his nose right here. Just a little upside down U shape. And then his mouth is going to be a little squiggly, so we're going to put a little cheek on the end. Come off and give him a grumbly smile. I think that's how I would describe it. Another cheek on that side. Alright, let's put a little paint on there. Thanks, Michelle. That's a little thick. There's his nose, and let's see if we can paint his mouth. I want to try and keep this very thin. Here we go. Ooh, that turned out really good. There's his grumbly smiley face. He's a happy Frankenstein. He's gonna get another scar across the bottom of his face here. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so now we're gonna switch to white. So, reposition a few things here real quick. For the white, we're going to fill in his eyes. We got to be careful because typically I would let this sit and dry for a while before I tried to fill in white, but this would be a really long live stream if you sat and waited for paint to dry. So we're just going to be careful. This is just a interior, exterior white paint. Nothing special here. And you can use acrylic paints for this. I just happen to have a lot of white paint that I'm using, so. That's looking pretty good so far. Yeah, I think that looks great. Alright, let's see if we can do the other eye now. you're just joining us, today we're painting up Frankenstein Halloween decoration. Saw this a while back on Etsy and decided I wanted to make it, so like the rain stopped. It's been coming in and out all day today due to this little tropical storm that's offshore here in Florida. Straighten that line out just a little. Alright, that looks really good. Alright, so if you missed it earlier, what this is a 4x4. This is a pine 4x4. I don't have cedar available here in Florida. So I got pine 4x4. I rounded over the edges with a 3/8 router bit. It's a roundover bit. And then I sanded it with 80 grit sandpaper and I painted it all a matte black. And then once it was painted matte black, I painted it this green color here, which is a seaweed salad bear paint. So interesting name, but perfect color for Frankenstein. And then we went ahead and lightly sanded it with some 120 grit sandpaper to just break it through a little in a few spots on the sides, which I think turned out really good. And then we went to paint here, so looks like the front looks pretty good, his face. So all we're going to do now is put just a little bit of color on his eyes. Not color, but a little texture, I guess it would be. Looks like I touched him somewhere. Doesn't look like I messed up his face anywhere. Alright, so right about here, there's a little bit of too much paint. There we go, looks good. We're going to come down like this. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And do the same on this side. Alright. That's our Frankenstein face. So now we're gonna go into finishing his hair and putting some scars around the sides. So I'm going to reposition the camera. Apologize for a little bit of movement here. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Switch back to black paint, and we're going to paint the rest of his hairline around the sides here. A little bit hard to keep you able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to do my best. Hold it over just like this. Got a little too much water. I think I dipped it in the water. Good thing it's water-based paint. Definitely got a lot of water in that spot, but I think it's going to work out. His hairline's looking really good here. So, this is the side of his face here. Let's bring him a pretty good sized scar down the side of his head here. That looks really good. A couple of stitches. Cool thing is, he's Frankenstein. If you mess up the stitches, it's not that big a deal because these are done by a mad scientist, so they're not going to be perfect even when they were freshly done. So there's our stitches down the side. We'll find somewhere to hold them here, and we're going to work on the back. There we go. Alright, got a little bit of sanding dust left on them. Work some more on his hairline here. Sorry, I know you can't see very well there. If you're just joining us, this is my first live stream, so bear with me a little. But we are painting Frankenstein, getting ready for Halloween. So I think this one's turning out really good so far. There's his hairline. And this one needs a little more. Here we go. Alright, I like that. I'll take my wider brush, fill this in a little. Should have used my smaller brush for this part, but I think I got it. Try and brush any extra paint away so we don't get any runs. Switch back to the little brush for this part. Yeah, I think that looks great. Alright, this is the back of his head. So we're going to give him two scars back here. So I'm going to give him one right here. That one's a little thick. Try and make it thin at the end at least. And we'll give him one down here. There we go, that looks really good. Give him a couple stitches. It's got a little thick on me, but I think it still looks good. Alright, that's the back of his head. Now we got to do the side here. Alright, this one's going to get a scar right here. Alright, I'm going to paint his hairline on this side. think that's looking really good. See a little bit of pencil there still from where I sketched it earlier. Everybody ready for Halloween? I haven't decided what I want to be this year. One of my kids wants to be a ninja. That's a fun one to do. The other one hasn't decided yet. And I haven't decided yet either. What was I last year? I think I was an astronaut last year. And the previous years I have been Batman and Iron Man, my two favorite superheroes. Kind of like Spider-Man, but I'm definitely not small enough and energetic enough to be Spider-Man. Wouldn't mind being Wolverine. That'd be fun too. But it'd have to be like the older movies, Wolverine with the leather jacket and all. I couldn't handle the yellow jumpsuit. Alright, that looks really good. Alright, we gotta paint the top of his head. Kinda looks like he has a bald spot. We're gonna use the thicker brush for that. And turn this guy this way so you can see his face. I think it turned out really good on this one. Don't worry about paintbrush marks and things like that. This is Frankenstein. It was put together by a mad scientist, and he's gonna have bumps and bruises and scars and all that, so paintbrush strokes just kind of blend into what he's all about. So that makes it a really fun Halloween project. Pee Wee Herman this year. That'll be fun. That was a comment from Michelle. Alright, get the back side here. Now again, if you weren't here in the beginning, this is not my own design. I did see this on, I believe it was Etsy a while back, and decided I wanted to make one. So I had some friends that wanted some decorations, so I made a few pumpkins. I made some ghosts, some cats. I did some mummies. The mummies were fun. This is the first year I've done mummies, but I do have another video out on how to make, pumpkins, cats, and ghosts out of cedar fence pickets or pressure treated fence pickets, if that's all you got, and 4x4 posts. That's a fun video. You can find that in my list of videos if you want to learn how to make those. But Frankenstein here is a lot of fun. Alright, that's the whole top of his head. Show you that. I think that turned out really good. Got a few spots that have some thicker paint, but like I said, it's Frankenstein. Just bumps and bruises, so as long as they don't run, it'll look really good when it dries. But that finishes off Frankenstein. What do you guys think? Sorry for the camera movement again. There we go. I think Frankenstein turned out really good. And And if you weren't here in the beginning of the video, it went from 4x4 to a black painted 4x4 to a green painted 4x4, and then we spent some time turning them into Frankenstein with the face there. I'm pretty happy with that. So if you want to stick around, I'm sure some of you noticed I have a white 4x4 sitting over here. I'm sure you're wondering, what is that white 4x4 for? Well, I didn't put it in the description, but I'm going to paint a mummy. So, mummies are fun. They're a little bit of work, but they're fun to paint. Since it's white, you want to make sure your tablecloth is got no paint on it, it's clean, because it will show everything you touch. Michelle says it will be an afternoon project. That's awesome. If you do decide to make one, post a picture on my Instagram page. I'd love to see it. I'm also on Facebook and X and every other social media site as well. I'm gonna move in a little bit again. See this Frankenstein. Excuse me, this mummy. All right. Mummies are easy. Mummies are mostly just eyes. So we're gonna paint with black. We're gonna come down about 3 inches, I'd say. And about here. I'm gonna paint some white pupil, or excuse me, some black pupils. Probably big enough. Got a little bit of a bump right there on the top of the pupil. They can smooth that out a little. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Alright. Let's paint one right here. Fun part of doing this is trying to make them the same size and the same shape. It's probably the hardest part. But honestly, it doesn't matter if they're not perfectly the same size. Because this is a mummy. I think I messed up on my layout. Bear with me just a minute. Nope, I did it right. I was worried that it was supposed to be white in the center, but black made more sense, and that's the way it's supposed to be, so I went and grabbed one of the ones I did yesterday. So, now we're going to paint his eyes. And I like his eyes to be kind of ovally. He's got big eyes because I think he just woke up and he's like, I'm all wrapped up. I've been asleep for 1,000 years. He's trying to figure out what's going on. So he's got some really big eyes. I think that looks great. Got a little away from you there. There we go. I think that looks good. I'm going to round out this eye just a little. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to make a slit in his bandages here where his eyes are coming out. So we're gonna go right across here. And across here. And kind of curve this back in a little. It's just an opening in his bandages. So if you're just joining us, we just finished painting Frankenstein over here and decided to go ahead and paint a quick mummy as well. Black I'm painting is just an opening in the mummy's bandages where you can see his scared eyes, big-eyed looking out going, what is going on? Because he just woke up from his 1,000-year nap and he's a little confused of what's going on out here. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. Saw these mummies also, I believe it was probably also on Etsy a while back. They look like fun to make too. So if you decide to make either of these, make sure you send me pictures. I'd love to see them. Send them to Instagram or to X or Facebook. And if you want to learn how to make pumpkins, see, pumpkins, cats, and ghosts, I have a video out for that as well. Using the pumpkin, it was a cedar fence picket, or excuse me, cedar fence post, a 4x4, just like these. And then for the cats and the ghosts, I just used a fence picket. All right, so now we're gonna make bandages because the eyes are done. So the bandages, I imagine, are gonna be 3/4 of an inch wide. So this bandage is going to be, this will be the top of the bandage, and we're just going to paint a line straight across. Okay, and same with the top. And you kind of want to keep it as thin as you can. I got a little thick there, but it'll still look good. Bandage. These bandages are going to continue around the sides, so we'll go ahead and paint this one right here. And we're going to come up the side just like that, and this side here is going to do the same. This one is going to go under that one. So just like that. So on this front, we're going to have a bandage that came off at an angle like this. It's a little thick. It's going to come off. Ran out of paint. Just like that. And we'll have another bandage that's coming off here like this. It's going to go under that bandage. It's going to come out this side. And we'll have one splitting all by itself down here. There we go. Where the next bandage should go, kind of just winging these. Let's bring one right here, curve a little. Yep. Here we go. Alright, so since I came up there, now we need to have one come like this. It's a little thick. And then this will curve right over the side. And I'm pretty happy with the front. Except I think he needs one. Goes across his head up here. So we're gonna have one come out from under that one and go across that way. There we go. Alright, so that'll be his face. And now we're gonna work on his side. This is where it gets complicated when you're filming live, because I would normally let it dry for a little bit before, or stand it up on edge before I try to paint down the side. But I know you guys don't want to sit here and watch paint dry. That would be very boring. A little thick at the end, but it still looks good. Alright, so we need to continue that bandage over there. This one here, it's a lot of paint. It's going to come like this. I'll curve it up a little. That's looking really good. Now this one, we're going to curve. Go up and under that bandage. Okay. And it's going to go right up like that. That's looking really good. Did that one a little thick. I'll just say it's a shadow behind the edge of the bandage. That's looking pretty good. Let's bring one up off the bottom here. Wrap it down towards the base. Like it needs one right here. Every time you add one, you gotta continue the bandage all the way up the side. So keep that in mind depending on how many bandages you want to paint. If you're just joining us, looks like we got a few new people. We finished our Frankenstein and decided to paint a mummy. I'm gonna make this live show available to watch later too, so if you want to go back and watch the Frankenstein, you can. I think this is looking really good. Alright, so we gotta continue this bandage up. Side here. I think we're gonna let it go under that one and disappear, because it'd be a lot of work to go down the side. It looks like I got paint on my hand and I touched the side of the mummy here. Alright, that still looks good. Alright, I think that looks good for the side. So now let's do this side. Let's see how that looks. I'm gonna try to paint it standing up here so you can see what I'm doing. So we've got this bandage coming around his forehead here. So we're gonna take it and go down the side. Don't touch the paint. A little bit light on the paint. There we go. I think that looks great. Alright, and then the one off the bottom. First, you get the bottom of his eyes here. I'm going to curve upward like this. Yeah, paintbrush got away from me a little there, so I make a big wide line right there. I think it still looks great. Alright, we need to continue that bandage up the side. And we got this one that we're going to bring off of there as well. We're going to curve it and make it go down. There we go, it's looking pretty good. And then we got this bandage, it's going down really steep, so we're going to keep it going down. I think that looks really good. We're going to curve this one to go back up. Kind of just making up these bandages as I go. There is no right or wrong way, as long as you enjoy doing it. I think that looks great. Alright, this one here, we need to bring up this direction. Alright, what do you guys think? I think that's enough bandages for the side. Kind of feel like it needs one that goes right down the side, but I think that's gonna be overkill, so I'll leave it as is. Alright, so all we have left is the back. The back's gonna be fun because we need to connect those lines and those lines, so we have a little bit of continuity And then we got to go over the top with the head as well. So let's see. This one is going to go up and over to connect to the front because there's one up there. So let's try and do that. I think that looks pretty good. This one can connect to this one down here. That looks really good. This one will go under that one and connect to that one there. Like this. Come up the back side here. Connect to that one. I think that looks really good. We're gonna wait to connect the top because that's where I'm holding on to, so I don't want to add fingerprints. So the only continuity error I've got is this one is gonna connect to that one, but where's that one gonna connect to? So I am gonna have to do another line on that side. Looks like I touched it too. Messed them up just a little bit. Let's fix that line. There we go. Still looks good. Alright, let me wipe my hand off. Alright, we have this one and that one. That one's going to connect to this one, so let's do it first. Make it a nice big line right here. Oop. Went to the wrong side. We're going to curve it down and connect it to this one over here. So even if you mess up, you can still make it look good. Alright. So this one, instead of going there, should be straight across. We're going to bring it down and connect to that one way down there. This bandage. And we're just going to bring it straight down to the bottom, changing it up as I go. Then we got this one over here. Just gonna bring to the base and terminate. And then we got this one kind of floating out here. It needs to go somewhere. I like that. Alright, all of those go somewhere. We gotta finish up the top. This guy. It's gonna go there. you can see that. It's gonna go there. Alright, so we have one left that goes nowhere. So we're gonna bring it across and under that one. Sorry, I know it's hard to see this one. Okay. We gotta figure out where we're gonna take it from there. This is the side that I thought needed another bandage anyways. So, I think it's going to get that bandage. Angle this down a little. Try not to mess up too much of the paint. Yep, this was the bandage it needed. I thought about doing it earlier and then changed my mind, and now it's getting it. It looks perfect. There we go. I put one fingerprint on the back. It's doing so good. Alright. What do you think of that? We finished our Frankenstein. We finished a mummy. I moved this camera, so I apologize for the shaky camera. I mentioned earlier that I have another video where I did a pumpkin and some cats and a ghost. That's a pumpkin. I made one this morning for somebody, so that's the pumpkins I make, and then the mummies and the Frankenstein. So yeah, if you want to see how to make this, it's another video that I have in there. It's a cat and a ghost made out of a cedar fence picket, and then a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern is made from a 4x4. So hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first live stream. Hope it went okay. I've never done it before and thought I'd give it a go. But if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. I try to put out content regularly. With Christmas coming, I'm going to have quite a few videos out for different Christmas decorations. And hit the like button. That definitely helps and lets people know that there's videos here, because the more likes you get, the more the algorithm recommends it to other people. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day. And if you decide to make any of these projects, post a picture on one of my social media pages. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, X, all under Wade's Workshop, and look forward to seeing your projects. Thank you.